It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the Muppets on this Mickey's Roundtable tonight. Welcome to another Mickey's Roundtable adventure where we explore everything Disney, one themed adventure at a time. On this episode, a salute to all creative genius puppeteers, but mostly Jim Henson. You're not going to want to miss this most sensational, inspirational, muppentational Mickey's Roundtable adventure. Jim Henson was born in Greenville, Mississippi, September 24th, 1936. Although not interested in puppets as a child, as an adult he went on to revolutionize puppetry. The term Muppets, the name Muppets, is a combination of the word marionette and puppet, and they married those together. He achieved success at the national level on Sesame Street.
Hello, Mr. Snuffleupagus.
And in 1976, The Muppet Show.
Muppetational, this is what we call the Muppet Show!
As a kid growing up, I was only 6 years old when it debuted. We didn't have a color TV. I remember when we got a color TV, I wanted to watch The Muppet Show. I wanted to see what color Animal was. He was red. Animal was red, yeah. He went on to do movies, The Muppet Movie, The Great Muppet Caper, other television shows, Fraggle Rock. In the late 1980s, Jim Henson and the Walt Disney Company were in negotiations for the Disney Company to buy the rights to Jim Henson's Muppets, Muppet characters, Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, Fozzie, Gonzo, and the rest, not including the Sesame Street Muppets. August 28th, 1989, Jim Henson traveled to Florida and the then Disney MGM studios to have his handprints and signatures in the cement in front of the Chinese theater there at what is now Hollywood Studios. That's where I headed to first on my epic Muppets adventure today, September 24th, 2024. Not only did Jim Henson put his handprints down, but he also put down Kermit's handprints as well. I decided to see how big my hand was compared to Jim Henson's. And what's kind of neat is that it's not just a hand, it's the hand that actually operated Kermit the Frog. And so I put my hand in there, and it, I think, was exactly the same size. Kind of cool. Less than a year later, May 16th, 1990, Jim Henson passed away.
We are here today to grieve the death and celebrate the life of Jim Henson.
And all those people believe in you, keep it up and strong enough, believe in you.
I never cry or am emotionally touched when celebrities die like I was when Jim Henson passed away. He is the only celebrity that ever died unexpectedly that I actually shed tears for.
It's not that easy being green.
The deal that they were negotiating between the Walt Disney Company and Jim Henson and his Muppets hadn't gone through yet. They had lots of plans and lots of ideas.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's great fun for us to just be thinking about it right now.
One idea was going to be a Muppets take on the Great Movie Ride. So it would be like the Great Movie Ride, but only the Muppets, and they got everything wrong. That never came to be. But the attraction that did come to be, which turned out to be Jim Henson's very last project, very last performance as Kermit the Frog, was Muppetvision 3D. Like most shows at Walt Disney parks, they run continuously. They'll run a show and they'll let those audience members out, and then the new ones load in, and they just keep on going like that all day long. This runs like that. You don't have to wait a terribly long time if you miss a show until the next one starts. And while you're waiting for the show to start, there's props and costumes and crates with fun markings on them. There's a swine trek model from Pigs in Space. Very, very Muppety. A lot of Easter eggs. My favorite Easter egg, way up in the rafters, there's a banner, a picture of a Muppet that was created to look like Jim Henson. So there is a Jim Henson Muppet photo of that up in the rafters there. There's also then a pre-show. They've got television monitors throughout the lobby, the waiting area while you are waiting to get let into the theater, and they will go through safety stuff and all of that, but it's Muppets and they do all their fun shtick as well. They call it Muppetvision 3D.
Hi ho, Gravity Frog here, and welcome to Muppetvision 3D.
It's actually like 4D, because in addition to the 3D movie, there's all kinds of effects. You've got an animatronic Statler and Waldorf.
We entered a contest. Yeah, we lost.
The Swedish chef, he's running the projector behind you, and you get to see him pop out towards the end of the show. There's a Bean Bunny animatronic. Various effects will happen during the show. Fozzie squirts his boutonniere flour at you and you feel water come down on you. Or there's bubbles that come into the theater. Various things like this. Down in the orchestra pit, as opposed to the Muppet Show band, it's a band made up of penguins. And during the movie, the characters that are in the movie are interacting with the animatronic Muppet, Statler and Waldorf.
Waldorf, it's that dumb bear again. Hey, Bear, you're not even funny in 3D.
And it's a really well integrated show. Sweetums comes out into the auditorium looking for Bean Bunny, one of the main characters of the Muppetvision 3D show, and he's got a flashlight and he's looking around, and it's cool because it's not on the screen. He's not an animatronic. He's Sweetums coming out into the theater. And then for the grand finale, a salute to all nations, but mostly America, put on by Sam Eagle.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Muppets proudly present the final demonstration of Muppetvision 3D.
There's fireworks, and then there's some cannon fire as well, and they actually destroy the theater, and that is a really cool effect.
Whoa! Everyone okay in here? We surrender! We surrender! What an explosion!
When you exit the theater, basically you exit out the opposite side of where you came in, and you're kind of on the back side of the building, and as you go around, you pass by Pizza Rizzo. Pizza Rizzo is the Muppets themed restaurant. I went in there and grabbed something to eat. The menu is pizza, and they've got a meatball sub, and it doesn't get great reviews. The pizza's okay. There's the theming. Oh wait, no, there's not a whole lot of that either. There's almost no theming in the restaurant. There's a little bit. There's a few signs, and I always sit in the same table. There's a record on the wall, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. But other than a few little nods here and there in the name of the restaurant, there's not a whole lot of Muppets theming, which is really, really, really disappointing. From Hollywood Studios, I decided to move right along myself. I didn't hitchhike, bus, or yellow cab it. I took a boat on over to Epcot. Once there, I headed to the World Showcase, but more specifically, the American Adventure and the other Muppets-themed restaurant, the better of the two, the Regal Eagle. But so it combines Americana, barbecue, and the Muppets. Not even Disney could screw that up. It is a quick service restaurant. The theme and the story is that it is 1876, America's centennial, and basically Sam Eagle and the Regal Eagle is putting on a barbecue competition. There are awards and ribbons and descriptions of the various entries from the different Muppets characters that entered this barbecue competition. Right now at Epcot is the Food and Wine Festival, and somebody told me, hey, if you're doing a Muppets Day and you're going to be at Epcot, go to the Odyssey Pavilion. I did just that. There is some theming going on, just a very little bit, references to Muppet Labs and Dr. Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker. So on my way out, I headed through there and checked that out as well. Also at Epcot, they used to have a Muppet Labs mobile laboratory. It was a little car that drove around, and Dr. Bunsen, Honeydew, and Beaker would be on it, and they would drive around. So here's my idea. This is a good one. So you bring that back. You have them come out by the Imagination Pavilion out in front there, right next to Journey into Imagination, in front of the Magic Eye Theater, which is currently home to the Disney Pixar Short Film Festival. In that theater, I would put Muppetvision 3D. The show that's over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, I would put into that theater. It's a little bit smaller, but it's already geared for 3D, and it also has some 4D effects. The entryway where they fairly recently had a Mickey meet and greet, that could be your extended queue where you could have a Muppets Lab Museum, where you could have your 4-foot prune from the Muppet movie.
Asked, we're perfecting our latest invention, Instagrow pills.
Well, what in the name of Fat Swaller is that?
A 4-foot prune.
And all kinds of other props and inventions and gadgets that were featured in the Muppet Show that you could go through. And then you go in and you've got a pre-show, and then you go into the theater and you watch Muppetvision 3D, not at the Muppet Show theater, but at the Muppet Labs. What would I do with the current home of Muppetvision 3D? That I would turn into a Muppet Show Live. The theater is absolutely fantastic. It's a little odd when you come in because you're going into a theater exterior, and then you're in the Muppet Labs hallway, and then you're like in a backstage area of the Muppet Show theater, and then you're in the main auditorium of the theater. And I would make it all consistently a Muppet Show theater, and then when you get in, instead of a movie, on the stage would be animatronic Muppets with different acts from the Muppet Show. So behind the curtain, it would be a big turntable with different acts. And so when the curtain closes, that turntable would rotate and different acts would show up behind the curtain. Curtain opens, and then you would see Muppets performing. It would be Dr. Teethy and the Electric Mayhem. It might be Veterinarian's Hospital. It might be Pigs in Space, or Fozzie doing his stand-up.
These two cannibals were talking. One cannibal says to the other cannibal, "Who was that lady I saw you out with last night?" The other cannibal says, "That was no lady, that was my lunch."
Whatever it happens to be. It could be a set program, or you could maybe randomize it. That would be kind of cool. Then instead of Pizza Rizzo, I don't know why they don't do the Swedish Chef as the main character for a Muppets restaurant. So you do the Swedish Chef Smorgasbord. Then I would add another attraction in addition to the Muppet Show Live. I would do a dark ride called Moving Right Along. The exterior would be like the Muppet Studios out in California. I just got to go out there a few months ago. It is the original Charlie Chaplin studio, so it would fit the vibe and the theme of old-timey Hollywood that you get at the front of the park there. But then the ride itself would be, you get into Dr. Teethy and the Electric Mayhem's bus, or a Studebaker, or some vehicle from the Muppet movie, and you would follow Kermit and Fozzie as they head from the swamp to California and Hollywood and fame and fortune as they sign their standard rich and famous contract. And then at Magic Kingdom, I would bring back the Muppets' great moments in American history that they had in Liberty Square there out in front of the Hall of Presidents. Yeah, that would be pretty good. I don't think you can have too much Muppets. So that wraps it up for yet another Mickey's Round Table Adventure. But before we go, could you do me a little favor? Click the like button. You made it this far through the video. You must have liked it. I hope you liked it. And go ahead and click that subscribe button as well. Get me up to all the subscribers that I can muster. So until next time, this has been Mickey's Round Table Adventures. Yay!